As you've seen, there are really only two basic kinds of weather reports. One that has existing conditions, like the METAR, and the other that tells you what is forecast, like the terminal forecast and the area forecast. And you've also added some graphical tools to your pre-flight weather planning. The surface analysis chart and the weather depiction charts, plus the radar summary chart for thunderstorm activity. But those graphical charts are all based on observed weather, the existing conditions. So you might ask, are there any graphical charts that show forecast conditions? And I'm really glad that you did ask, because I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, right in this neat 4-in-1 package, you can get a beautiful forecast picture of your pressure patterns and your fronts and VFR, marginal VFR, and IFR weather at a glance. Now, how much would you be willing to pay for this wonderful package? But wait, don't answer yet. There's more. In fact, if you respond to this offer before your very next flight, your friends at the National Weather Service will throw in at absolutely no extra cost the freezing level, areas of moderate or greater turbulence, and precipitation. Now, you can't beat that, can you? And I can hear you out there saying, I must have that. What's it called? Well, folks, this handy little tool is called your Low-Level Significant Weather Prognostic Chart. What's that? Well, prognosticate means to forecast. So when you see something labeled as a prognostic or prog chart, you know it's a forecast chart. Now seriously, these charts reflect the best information the science of meteorology has to offer, and they give you a very valuable graphic forecast. Smart pilots don't leave home without checking the progs. They really are a great help in avoiding areas of turbulence and for picking altitudes away from the freezing level with its potential icing conditions. Now I can see that you're with me here, so let's take a closer look at what you get in this fantastic deal. Now, I know that you're willing to pay a lot more for just one of these valuable charts, but because you listened to this special offer today, you'll get all four for the price of one. And how much is that, you ask? Well, just like the other weather charts, you pay absolutely nothing for them with a visit to your nearest flight service station or to your computer with DUAT or the Internet. Now, the low-level significant weather progs are issued 4 times a day at 00 Zulu, 0600 Zulu, 1200 Zulu, and 1800 Zulu. The two left-hand charts are 12-hour forecasts, and the two right-hand charts are 24-hour forecasts. Each panel shows its valid time, and in this case, the left-hand charts have a valid time, or VT, of 00 Zulu. We'll look at that in a minute. And the right-hand charts have a valid time of 1200 Zulu. Now, the top two charts are the significant weather progs. What they show you is forecast areas of IFR and marginal VFR weather in a format similar to a weather depiction chart. The symbology on these top two charts can change from time to time, but it's all shown in the legend between those upper two panels. Now, notice in the legend they tell you that they're using a smooth, solid line for the areas of IFR weather, places where the ceilings are forecast to be less than 1,000 feet and or the visibilities are forecast to be less than 3 miles. And they use a scalloped line for areas of forecast marginal VFR weather. That's ceilings of 1,000 to 3,000 feet and or visibilities of 3 to 5 miles. Now, those top two charts are also where you'll find forecast turbulence and forecast freezing levels. A heavy dashed line surrounds areas of forecast moderate or greater turbulence. Now, the symbols for the freezing level tend to vary from chart to chart, and sometimes the legend disagrees with what's actually used on the chart. On this chart, the legend says that a smooth line will be used to show the freezing level at heights above mean sea level. Well, on the chart itself, which we'll look at in a minute, the freezing levels are actually indicated with a light, small dashed line. But you can figure them out okay. A jagged line indicates the location of the freezing level at the surface. Now when you look at this upper left panel, you can see that this chart has a valid time, or VT, of 00 Zulu. It is a low-level chart that goes from the surface, which is approximately 1013 millibars, up to 400 millibars. 400 millibars is the equivalent of 24,000 feet, or flight level 240. Now, as you know, millibars are one way to measure the pressure of the air, and several charts use millibars to tell you what height they cover. At sea level, there are about 1013 millibars of pressure, and at 18,000 feet, there's about half that much pressure, about 500 millibars of pressure. Now let's take a look on this same panel at the lower right-hand corner. In the southeastern U.S., you'll see a scalloped line indicating forecast marginal VFR weather. Inside that, in Florida, you have solid lines here and here indicating IFR weather for the northern half of Florida. Now take a look at this small dashed line coming down through Louisiana. That's the freezing level aloft, and it's at 16,000 feet. Now let's move over to eastern Utah. You see a heavy dashed line which indicates forecast turbulence. How much turbulence, you ask? Well, when you see a single mountain peak symbol like this, it means moderate turbulence. And when you see a mountain peak with an inverted V on it, like a cloud cap on top, it's forecasting severe turbulence. In this case, the turbulence goes up to 24,000 feet, or flight level 240. That's the number to the left-hand side of the slash. But remember, this chart only goes up to 24,000 feet, so the turbulence may go higher. Not that this will worry us 172 drivers all that much. Now, the base of the turbulence is normally shown to the right side of the slash. But in this case, the turbulence extends to the surface since there's no number shown there. So in this area, you have moderate to severe turbulence forecast from the surface to 24,000 feet. Now, the two lower panels are the surface prognostic chart, and their format is similar to the surface analysis chart. They give you the location of the fronts and pressure centers, but also show areas of precipitation and symbols for the type of precipitation. So let's take a look at some common symbols you might see on this chart. If you see a solid line, it indicates stable precipitation is forecast within that area. And when you see little circles with dashes, it indicates showery precipitation. If less than half of the area has precipitation, it will be unshaded, and if half or more of the area is forecast to have precipitation, then it will be shaded. Now let's take a look at some other symbols that you'll see on this chart. If rain is forecast, you'll see a dot, and if the precipitation is snow, you'll see what looks like an asterisk or star. If the precipitation is intermittent, you'll see one dot or asterisk, and if it's continuous, there will be two dots or two asterisks. And if the precipitation is showery, then you'll see the appropriate symbol with an upside-down triangle. In the lower left panel, the 12-hour surface prog over Florida, you can see the dashed dot line that tells you there is showery precipitation forecast there. And because it's shaded, the showery precipitation should cover half or more of the area. Now, looking over here, we see the upside-down triangle with the dot for rain showers. The lightning symbol next to the rain shower symbol is the symbol for thunderstorms. Now move over to the lower right-hand chart, which is the 24-hour surface prognostic with a valid time of 1200 Zulu. There's some unusual stuff going on down here in the Gulf of Mexico. Notice this symbol and the notation below, TS Jerry. TS Jerry stands for Tropical Storm Jerry. Now, if the symbol had a solid center instead of a clear one, they'd be telling you that Jerry was a hurricane instead of a tropical storm. Now, isn't that all just fantastic? And I can tell by your faces that you'll always want this little gem, the low-level significant weather prognostic chart, in your flight planning. So trot right down today and visit your keyboard or the nearest flight service station. You'll never regret it.